Well, Happy New Year, everyone. We are pleased to have you for the first pool school of 2021. Hope everyone's year is getting off to a great start. My name is Ken Santora. I'm the Director of IT for Billiard Factory and am the invisible host for today. Before we get started, I want to let you know a couple of things. First of all, unfortunately, Jeanette had a unforeseen circumstance come up and could not make the event today. We do have Jaden here with us, which will be a great school today, a great show, and it'll be a lot of fun. We will get Jeanette on as soon as we practically can. And just a quick intro to Jaden. Jaden Dupree has been shooting pool since he was 12. Go ahead and check out his YouTube channel at Dupree Trick Shots and join his over 150,000 subscribers. And we will have him introduce himself in just a second. The format today is we're going to have Jaden give some tips and tricks and have some fun with you guys, and we will interject as we need to. If you have a question, go ahead and pop it into the Q&A. Everyone is muted, so no worries about the dogs barking or kids crying at home. We hope you enjoy the event. Before we turn it over to Jaden, I want to just let you know, if you're in the Houston area, come check us out at our new Katy store in Katy, Texas. It should be opening. We'll be starting move-in furniture next week, so we'll be opening up real soon. With that, Jaden, you need to unmute yourself and take it away.
Awesome. Thank you, Ken. Sorry, I didn't realize that I was muted. Thank you guys for joining us today. We're in for a good time, and just to start things off, Jaden Dupree. I'm 17. I'm originally from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Just moved here to Austin, been partnered with the Billiard Factory for about a year. They gave me this awesome Brass and Ox pool table for me to film my videos on and play some pool. So we're going to go ahead and start things off with a giveaway, just to start off on a high note. If we can get our magic wheel up. This is a $25 gift card. So whoever wins this is a lucky winner of a $25 gift card, and that is Darjay Jason. I apologize if I'm saying your first name wrong. Darjay Jason, thank you so much for joining us. Congratulations on your gift card. And so we have one other giveaway, I believe. Another gift card.
We're doing this again. Great.
Yeah, we get our wheel again. And who's it going to be this time? Place your bets. We got Mattia Constantino. Thank you so much for joining us. And congratulations on winning your $25 gift card. So just going to go ahead and jump into some pool. So I wanted to start off by showing you guys a few trick shots that you guys can do. Show off to your friends, show off to your family. And this is also one that can be used in a real game situation. Now, it is a bit of a tough one to get at first, but once you got it down, it's really, really fun. So you see, we got this little combination here. This is actually in use in a game. You can find Efren Reyes, greatest pool player ever, shooting this shot in a real tournament. So don't say you can't shoot this in a real game. So let's just say we're blocked from those balls over there. That's what we have to hit. So the idea is to hit the cue ball off of the point of this side pocket and then miss this point of the side pocket, and the cue ball will carry on down the rail into the 2, make the 6. So it's a bit of a tough one to find out. The only tough part is finding the aim, but after a few tries, you should be able to dial it in. Also, I like to use a bit of topspin to help curve around this point right here, just to make sure that I don't hit it. So I'm gonna give it my best try here. Oh, there we go, first try, look at that, right down the rail. So that's a really, really fun shot to do, just to show off to your friends, or as I said again, in a real game. And in a real game, sometimes the hardest thing is shot making. I find shot making to be a bit harder for me than position, especially on big tables like this. So to help with that, I normally use these pocket reducer things, and these are great for practicing. You can make your own at home, put something in the pocket, just so you can practice with a smaller pocket. And you will not believe what practicing on a smaller pocket will do for your game. This literally can turn a pool table into a snooker table in a second. So let me put my last one over here in the side pocket. I'm only putting in 4. Comes with 6. Billiard Factory does have these. So for you people that are winning $25 gift cards, right here, this is a great investment for your game, I'm just saying. But shooting drills with or without pocket reducers is always a great way to improve your game. And one thing that I like to do is I call just 3-ball pattern play. People look at me like I'm stupid while I'm at tournaments and I'm just doing this. Like I'll be at a 9-ball tournament, and instead of practicing 9-ball, I'm over here doing this. And this is actually the best way to get warmed up and to get better. So what I like to do, I place 3 balls out on the table. Nothing is past half the table. We're only using half the table for drills like this. What you do is you call the pocket before you even shoot the first ball. So you call the pocket for all the balls before you shoot the first one. So let's say 2-ball here, 7-ball here, 10-ball in this side. Now the pocket reducers will make this extra, extra tough. Without these pocket reducers, this would be a pretty simple run out. But with these, it's taking it to a whole nother level. That's what makes these so great. But the reason why these 3-ball drills are so good is because in 9-ball, you're always thinking in groups of 3 balls. Unless there's a big problem somewhere in the rack, we're always usually thinking 3 balls ahead. You're not on the 1 ball wondering about the position from the 8 to the 9. That's just way too much to think about at once. It causes you to overthink, and then you probably miss the 1 ball, which might be an easy shot. I've missed so many easy shots because I'm overthinking about a ball that's too far in the future. If you can run 3-ball groups, you can run 9-ball all day, easy. But shooting stuff like this, I call the 2 in the side, and maybe we'll get a look at how difficult these pocket reducers can be, especially with this shot. Hopefully my body is not blocking the view, but look at that, we got it. I did not expect to get that. And then sometimes they're a little hindering, so you can pop them out if they ever get in the way of you shooting. I called this 10-ball on the side before I started. All right, let's see. That pocket will accept it. You see these points right here on these pocket reducers make this 10 times harder than normal, but all you do whenever you miss is you set it back up, the same exact shot, and that's how you get better. So if you want to get better, you're gonna have to shoot the shots that you missed more, and pocket reducers will really, really, really help that. And I wanted to show a few other little drill layouts that I find super useful, that I think helped take my game to the next level faster than other ones.
Hey, Jared, before you do that,
Yeah.
you did a great job at promoting the pocket. My IT almost came out. I almost said pocket protector, but the pocket reducer. And tell us about the cue you're using right now.
Oh, the cue? This is the Shane Van Boning Q-Tech Synergy with the carbon fiber shaft. This is the first time I've ever played with the carbon fiber cue. I've had this cue since December of a while ago, since I've had this table actually. But so December, about a year ago, and I will not switch back to anything else. I feel like if I put this cue down, my game will go down with it. So I switched from a maple shaft to the carbon fiber, and it's great. Especially, this is a wonderful cue, and the great thing about it is I'm sometimes pretty careless with my cue. Like maybe my case will fall over sometimes, or like I like to use my cue to point at things or move balls around like that. And on my maple cue, that put a lot of little dinks in it, but this thing is absolutely perfect. It looks exactly like when I got it. This thing has been through airport security. It's been through checked bags. It's been through everything. So
where might someone get that cue?
Billiardfactory.com is where they might get it. And this cue is absolutely fantastic. I love it. Especially just the carbon fiber shaft is amazing. But going on to some more stuff that I think will really, really help your game. Drills like this. So you set up just 3 balls along the rail like that, and then on the opposite rail you do the same thing, 1 ball at each diamond, about a ball, maybe half a ball away from the rail. You don't have to be exact, because when you break and pull, it's not like every ball is going to go to exactly a diamond and exactly a ball away. Just put it in a rough position. And the idea is you want to go back and forth, alternating between the groups. So in this case, I'm going to go 7, 12, 2, 4, 13, 1. I'm not going to shoot the entire drill just so I don't waste your time, but just showing you a few ways that you can shoot the opening shots. You can practice your draw with some bottom left coming out to the middle of the table, and just keep shooting the same shot, ending up back in the middle of the table for about each one. And then you can practice your top spin in the same stuff. But when I'm shooting this drill, I like to use the same spin for each shot. I don't like to change how I'm doing it, because I feel like I'm really zoning in on one type of position shot. So you can use your top right, and I hit it a bit soft, but it's going to come out to where I still have a shot. But ideally you'd want to be about here, but you can practice all different types of position shots with this kind of drill. And then I've shown this one before on a pool school if you've been on before, but I love it so much. I think it's such an easy setup, and there's so many variations to it. Just the box. It's just this little box shape. You don't have to have an exact setup. You can shoot whatever position shot you want. Just go in the order of the box. So the box, I find, really helps. Some people call it the L, which is going around and shooting these. And my cue ball is getting away from me a little bit more than I'd like. But this drill, I think, is one of the easiest, yet one of the best. And if you find it too easy and you're just sprinting through the drill, I would suggest adding more balls, trying not to scratch in the side pocket. Okay, we're good. Adding more balls, trying to do the same thing with this 3-ball drill where you use the same exact spin on each shot. just a good way to get better at the game is to keep it fun and make stuff your own. So when you see me do a drill like this, don't just get down and do a carbon copy of that drill. Whatever your weakness is in the game, transfer that to the drill. And then one final little trick shot / tip. This is really helpful for bank pool, but I think it's just fun to set up and shoot and watch the ball go in. So the goal here is to be, that's what I was talking about with being a little bit careless with my cue just slapping against the table. Perfectly fine. Great. Carbon fiber. Love it. But the goal is to make the tin ball into this pocket right here. And it's a bit difficult, obviously, because we have all of these little blockers in the way, and we're set up the wrong way to make the tin ball right here. But one thing, a lot of people don't know that you can add spin onto the object ball. This is called the object ball. Whatever ball you're hitting with the cue ball, object ball, if you didn't know that. But you can add spin onto the object ball when you're shooting bank shots. So if I put left spin on my cue ball, right spin goes to the object ball, and vice versa. If I go right spin on my cue ball, left spin on the object ball. So if I'm putting left spin on my cue ball and right spin on the object ball, when it goes into this rail, it should kind of quit. Like it should reverse back, if that makes any sense. Going into this rail, and the spin makes it come back into this rail, and then over here into the side pocket. You wouldn't think it's really that possible. There's no visible spin on the tin ball, which makes the shot look so great. It makes it look almost kind of magical. It's another one of those shots where you just got to dial into aiming. I like to barely miss this point on the side pocket. So I just use some bottom left spin, and we're gonna hit the 4 ball. So we need to aim a little bit closer to that point. We hit it a bit too far out. And off to 13, that's good. So bottom left spin, transferring that spin on to the object ball. It's a really fun shot. You can use that in regular banks as well, just to help you in your real game banking. If you put left spin on this ball, it's going to go further. If you put right spin on your cue ball, this ball is going to have left spin, go further to the left. Sounds really confusing. There's a lot of right and left going on, but just remember, whatever's on the cue ball, the opposite is on this ball. That's what's going to take effect on that rail. So if I shoot straight into this 13 with a bunch of right spin, notice how my 13 takes off to the left and the cue ball can get out of the way. Even if I hit that ball full on, it's going to end up going to the left. So we have some more giveaways for you, some more Q&A stuff. If you guys have any questions, I see little notification on the Q&A box there. If I can,
A few questions here.
Can he stack billiard balls? Actually, I can. I have this awesome thing. A lot of people don't know that these exist. You can make your own. This is a ball. It's called a stacker ball. It's a little bit filed off on the bottom, and there's a hole drilled in the top. So let's say I wanted to do some trick shot. You set the stacker ball on the bottom, and you try to get that real ball to bounce on the tiny ball on the top, and there it is. And you can do some pretty fun shots. Most of them include following into the other ball, or drawing off of one ball and then shooting the other. Let's see if I can do one. It's like stuff like that. Those are really fun. But yeah, stacking balls, just file off the bottom of a ball that you're not using, and then you can drill a hole in the top, and then you're able to stack them on top of each other. It's a really cool thing. And so we had some other stuff. How long have you been playing? I've been playing since I was 12 years old in 2015, December of 2015. So basically 2016 is when I started. Will we have access to the Zoom training call recording? I think the Zoom is recording. It's recording, right, Ken?
It is recording, and then it will get published in a few days.
Awesome. So yes, you will have access to it. Can you explain a little bit slower about opposite spin on the balls? Yeah, sorry, I was so rushed. There's a lot of words going on there with left and right. It can get confusing pretty fast. So let's just say I have a dead straight end bank. If I bank this with no spin on the cue ball, the 13 will go in. That's how this is set up. Now, if I add right spin, I'm actually going to give myself a bit more angle just to make it more visible. So that's dead straight in right there. So if I put right spin on this cue ball, that's putting left spin on the 13. So if this is dead straight in, I should either make it towards the left side of the pocket or miss it towards the left side of the pocket. So either way, it should not go over this line. And I'm going to hit it at just a standard speed. I'm trying to get it to go this way. So right spin on the cue ball, left spin on that 13. And you see there, we almost missed it by a diamond. That's how much the spin affected it. Ended up being about a ball away from the diamonds where it hit. And if I set up the same thing.
Jaden, set that shot up on this diamond closest to.
Over here?
Yep, shoot toward the diamond toward me.
Awesome.
No, the other diamond, toward your computer.
Shoot towards that?
Yep, bank it to the corner pocket.
Okay. So dead straight to the corner is about there. So if I put right spin on the cue ball, it's left spin on this object ball, and we should hit around here. Yep, missed it by about a ball away from the diamond again. But it came back a little bit closer to the pocket on the second one. Now, if I set up that same exact shot and use the opposite spin on the cue ball. So right spin on the 13 is left spin on the cue ball, whatever's on the cue ball, opposite on the object ball. Left spin on that cue ball, we should miss the 13 somewhere over here. Oh, we actually made it. I may have accidentally cut the ball a little bit, but we definitely did not end up with that short. And then another thing, just really quickly, the speed also affects the angle of the bank. So if I were to shoot this really, really fast, I miss it short, which is normal. And then if I were to shoot it really, really slow, the same shot, the angle actually opens up and becomes wider. So that's another thing to keep in mind when you're shooting your bank shots, especially if you're trying to play position on another ball after the bank shot.
So to summarize that, if you were using the diamond, going diamond to diamond, it would be a straight on shot because of the angle of incident and reflection.
Mm-hmm.
But because you're off center on the diamond, then you need to apply some sort of either cut or, in this case, spin to the ball to get it to go toward the pocket.
Well, I like to think of it, I don't use the diamond system when I'm banking because I like to be more like feel, because I feel like that's the best way to really get good at something, is just kind of know it and not have to go out and be like, okay, 20, 10, 15. Like, there's nothing wrong with doing that. Just that's not how I do it, which not how you have to do it. But I mainly worry about the spin when I'm having to play position on the ball. So like if I'm banking this pin and playing position on the 4, I know that I'm using right spin to come off of this rail, so that changes how I have to bank the 10. So that's when I mainly focus on spin. If I'm just banking something dead on, I won't worry about spin at all. I'll just find my aim point and then shoot. But if I were to bank this, I know I'm using that bottom right to come off the rail to play position over here. So I know I know there's going to be less spin on this 10 ball, so I don't have to cut it as much as I would think I would have to. So that's what I think about my spin on my banks. I like to shoot them relatively straight with no spin if I don't have to play position on anything. But yeah, that's just what I think about. And what 8-ball training drills do you recommend? The 3-ball pattern that I showed earlier is really good, but a way to make it more specified to 8-ball. I'm going to shoot on this end of the table because it looks better on the camera. You still use half the table, but you're adding in some traffic and 8-ball. So 8-ball, these solids, and this is a pretty difficult layout actually. It's not very difficult, but you got this 4-ball side pocket shot, and that might give you some trouble. But just adding the traffic that you're not supposed to hit, in this case that's the strikes, up, and I missed the ball in hand 2-ball. I don't know, just right off the bat, that doesn't. So again, you want to call the pockets before you shoot. I forgot to do that as well. I'm going to make the 2 and the 1 in this corner, 4 on the side, 8 on the side. So the goal is to scoot the cue ball over to the right for that 1 ball. And then I want to get pretty straight in on the 4 ball, so that's about there where my cue tip is. So bring the cue ball back just a little bit. And I brought it back just a bit too far, but I'm still pretty straight. This one, I just want to focus on making the ball. And then over here, called the 8-ball on the side. And there it is. So just adding those extra stripes helps kind of get the 8-ball feel. But the most important part about this drill is actually what I forgot to do in the beginning is call the pocket before you shoot. Call the pocket on every ball before you shoot the first ball. Can we get those pocket users in the UK? That is a pinned answer, and it looks like he is typing.
And yes, you can, but not from us. Amazon UK has them, and I think they're available elsewhere.
How do you deal with nervousness when all eyes are on you? When you're at a tournament and people are watching you play, it can get really, really difficult to focus. One thing I do is I wear AirPods and I play music. And it's better to have the wireless ones so the wire's not in the way of you shooting. But wireless headphones with some music, music that you play when you're shooting by yourself at home, just get that home feel and just try to block stuff out. That's really all you can do. And it's also good just to go out and shoot in front of people just to get more comfortable with it.
How about we give something away here and we do another trick shot?
Awesome. Let's pull up the wheel again. See, it's another $25 gift card for you guys. Let me exit out of this Q&A so I can see the wheel. There we go. Awesome. And Jeff Allen. Thank you for joining and registering. Hope you enjoy your $25 gift card. So one trick shot that I wanted to show, it's a bit of a challenge, but I think it's a really, really cool shot in my opinion. Ken, can you clearly see if these balls, if I set them right here?
The
Or
one,
should I set them on that side?
I'll bring them down here.
Okay, awesome. So I'm going to shoot it down here so you guys can have a better look at what's happening. So the goal is, set this up a bit funky. The goal is not to make all of these balls. So you set up a cue ball and you set up 4 balls that are all touching each other afterwards. They're all touching the rail as well. And this is not my preferred spin to use on it. I apologize for my dog if you can hear him. But it's not my preferred spin to use on it, this bottom right. I like shooting on this side, but I feel like you guys will learn it better if it's on this side, since you can see it. But this is called a resistance draw shot. So the resistance is these 4 balls right here. And if you have a bunch of balls in a row, the spin that goes onto the cue ball is maximized. Like it goes up like crazy. So the idea is to shoot into these balls, and the cue ball comes out here and then draws backwards, has enough spin on it to go 1, 2, 3, and then make this. And I normally shoot this with a rack right there, but I'm not sure where any of my racks are. Someone has played pool on the table that wasn't me to move them. Oh, there they are. So grab me a rack. Awesome. I normally shoot it set up like this. So you want to aim about into right here, almost half a diamond into the rail, but a little bit closer to the pocket. Really just adjust as you need. And then this is actually not a lot of draw on this shot. You want to use about a tip of draw and a little bit of right spin, and that's going to help it go around the 3 rails. Now, people normally don't shoot this shot to make a ball. Making a ball like this is pretty difficult. Most people shoot it just to get the ball in this area. So try to make a ball if you can, but I'm just going to see how accurate I can get with this shot. So low right spin. And I actually miscued there and they go all out. Whoa, completely different shot. Just imagine the rack of the 9 wasn't there. So make sure your cue is chalked up before you shoot that, because this is also pretty easy to miscue on, since all of these balls are right here. But this shot is always super fun to do whenever you're able to get it, but it's a pretty touchy shot as well. So I figured I'd just try my luck with it today. Oh, go back. Doesn't look like I had enough draw and I had too much right spin on that one. We got back down to this half of the table, which is good. Try 1 or 2 more times, see if we can get a little bit further, maybe make the ball. But definitely go and try this on your table. There's a variation where you can make it jump if you elevate your cue a little bit. That's always a fun one. Elevating your cue, hitting it the same way, and all these balls force the cue ball up and then back. There's so many ways to shoot this shot. It's such a fun one. We got more of the speed on that one. Just our cue ball did not have enough draw again. So I'm gonna try it one more time and see how close we can get. And I'll move on to my last trick shot and we'll go to that one. It looks like we're gonna rattle that pocket right there. So unfortunately, that looked like it was it. But that's always a fun shot. You guys can shoot that resistance draw shot. And the last shot I wanted to show you guys is this awesome, kind of little dangerously shot. Just popping the cue ball off the rail. How do you do it? Super fun shot. So I put my cue ball frozen to the rail, and I like to air bridge my cue. So that just means I'm not touching any part of the table with one hand. I'm just holding my bridge hand in the air, just pretending like I'm shooting. I'm gonna move my phone out of the way so nothing bad happens to that. And you want to elevate the back of your cue just a little bit, not too much. And then you're hitting with a little bit of top spin. Again, not too much. You're kind of forced to hit with top spin because the cue ball's frozen. But try to get a nice clean hit on it and then see if you can get in and catch it. It's a super fun shot. There's a ton of stuff you can do with this. Getting it to go higher is pretty fun. The more you elevate, the higher it will go. But just as a warning, sometimes if you elevate too much, the cue ball will go into this rail and then go forward off of it. It'll still bounce up, just go forward because of the top spin and the elevation. But yeah, if we have any more questions, I can answer those. If not, we have another giveaway for you guys also. The last and final giveaway of a $25 gift card.
We will get to that. You have some more questions, though.
I have some more questions. Let me go to this Q&A section. So read advice for practicing longer shots. So practicing longer shots, the way I would say using these pocket reducers would really, really help, because I'm gonna put a pocket reducer into this corner over here. Actually, I'll put it into this corner. And so you guys can see the level of difficulty that you're dealing with here when you're shooting these shots. And then once you take those out, pockets are like buckets. So just so you can see the level of difficulty, I'm putting ball close to the middle of the table. I'll put this way back here. So this is already a tough shot in a normal situation, but with this pocket reducer, very, very tough shot. So just go through it like any other tough shot that you're gonna shoot. And goal, just to make it. And then once you take these out, I promise you, you'll be making these probably 2 times more. But if you don't have these pocket reducers, just shoot this shot without them. This shot is already hard enough to practice these long shots. Just like that, you see how it rattled around inside the green thing. If those were out, it rattled around the pocket reducer. If those were out, that ball would have gone in. And that's the case with most of the shots that you're going to shoot. Just like that. It's going to be real frustrating at first. That'd be a cool shot. Look at that. Awesome. It's going to be pretty frustrating at first, but I promise you, once you take them out, it's going to be great. Does the direction of spin change when it hits the rail? So I wouldn't call it the direction of spin changing. So let me think of a good example for this. So if I were to shoot a shot like this, and I were to use a little bit of left spin. So left, or let's say right spin. I'm shooting this ball with right spin, and right spin off this rail is going to carry it down here. Now, right spin is still on the cue ball, but if we come around to this side of the table where the cue ball is coming from, so the cue ball is coming off of this rail with right spin and going into this rail. Right spin on this rail is a different direction than right spin on this rail. If I'm trying to explain this to the best of my ability, it's kind of a hard concept to grasp. But if I were to shoot with right spin there, if I can not hit that side somehow, goal is to get the cue ball to hit around here, and so use a good amount of right spin. I'm not really sure how to demonstrate this in a good shot. I'll try one more time to move this even further down here. Trying to get that right spin. So right spin and then right spin, but it's kind of canceled out. So just think that rail kind of cancels it out. Because right spin on this rail is reverse rather than carrying on this way. Right spin on this rail is carrying on this way rather than reverse. Hopefully that makes sense. If there's a way I can clarify, let me know. The best, easiest way to learn defense, I would say there's a game called Kick Safe. I'm not going to actually rack 9-ball, but basically it's like you rack the game of 9-ball, and you are not allowed. Don't worry that the 9's not in the middle, because we're not actually making any balls here. The goal is just to play safe on the 1-ball constantly. So the break, you try to get that cue ball down on that end rail, end up behind some ball. We got behind the 7, and then you would play the cue ball where it is. This is a good way to practice your kicking and your safeties, but just the time. Like if we were to end up here, the shot would be behind the 7, and then you would kick and try to hit it. If you don't hit it, that's the point. If you can play this with other people, they've made this like a game. It's pretty fun. But you can practice. You're like, hopefully this would be a lock-up safety if I'm able to get behind that 9, stuff like that. Creating distance with the 1 and the 9. We got the 1 all the way down on that rail. I mean, with the 1 and the cue ball, not the 1 and the 9. And then at the same time, trying to practice those kicks. But that's a fun game, just playing safe on the 1 ball. You can play that with other people. Every time you miss a kick, it's a point. Points are bad. 3 points, you lose. That's how it works out. How to hit a ball off the rail with a cue ball on the same rail into the opposite corner pocket. Hit a ball off the rail with a cue. I'm not really sure how to interpret that, Bob. I'm sorry. What drills do you recommend for making object balls on the rail? Really, for making like specific shots like that, my advice is just to shoot that shot a lot. I know it seems pretty obvious, but I mean, really just spend 10 minutes shooting like various shots that you're struggling with. So I'm not too good at this shot. I'm good at it at a medium speed, but at a high speed, I tend to lose my accuracy like that. So if I were trying to get better at that, you sit here for a little bit, set up the shots that you're struggling with, and then just keep going until you start making them. And that's really the only way to get really good at the shots that you're currently bad at. I know it can be kind of tedious, it can be kind of boring, and it's kind of frustrating when you miss, which will be a lot because it's a problem shot for you. But it's just sticking to it. I don't recommend the pocket reducers on a shot like that because these are very, very pointy. And the shots off the rail, sometimes it's literally impossible. Like I'm gonna roll this very softly, it doesn't go in. So stuff like that, I don't recommend those for those types of shots.
So on the rail shot, are you aiming for the cushion, the ball, or somewhere in between to get it to stay on the rail?
I keep my same aiming method for this shot. So the way I aim is I use the ghost ball system. I imagine a ball right there that's dead in line with where I want the cue ball to go. And I imagine that ball. I try to get my cue ball to be where that imaginary ball is. Some people say you want to time it to hit the rail and the ball at the same time. I can see how that would work, but that also kind of confuses me a little bit, because how do you know when you hit the two and the rail at the same time? Because it has to be the exact same time. Pool is really a game of inches and millimeters, so being off a slight amount that's not even visible to the eye can still throw the ball off. So that's why I don't really like that. I just like, sorry, I'm shooting dead into a light, so hopefully I'm able. Yeah, I hit it a bit too thin. Oh, did I? It would have gone in if I hit it a bit harder, but.
So along the same lines, I think back to Bob's question was the cue ball and the object bar are on the same rail now. And you have two options. You hit it to the corner pocket along the same rail, or you try to pinch it and hit it in the corner pocket opposite rail.
Oh, I understand now. Okay, so I'm guessing they're talking about shot like this. So this shot I find pretty tough. You might be thinking why. On this table it wouldn't be very tough because I think my rails are even with each other, but some bar tables, some tables in pool halls have uneven points on the pocket. So if you're shooting the cue ball down this rail straight, you can actually catch one of those points and it'll throw your cue ball completely off. So one thing that I do is I try to curve the ball just a slight amount while I'm shooting this shot. So just like a little bit of left spin, a little bit of bottom, curving it around this pocket. So aiming slightly to the left of that two ball, curving the cue ball around this pocket and pocketing that two ball. That's how I normally shoot that shot. I would not recommend trying to shoot it into the other pocket. So like if we were down here and I'll try to make it over in that corner, I don't really recommend this shot unless it's necessary, because naturally you want to shoot this with a high cue ball, and that leads you straight to the corner pocket. So your cue ball, and even if you use backspin on this shot, there's still a good chance that you might scratch inside. There's just too many risks going on in that shot for me to really like it. But if you can find a good combination of speed and spin on that shot and you get really good at it, there's no problem with shooting it. Just, it's not one that I really would shoot. Shooting on a bar box, do anything for shooting on an 8-foot table? I would say shooting on an 8-foot table does something for shooting on a bar box. I would say it's the other way around. And Ken, you got a question about a table as well from David Sullivan. David, recommend the Rasson Ox 100%. And best drills to learn position without spin. Well, position is really all about spin, but it's a way how you categorize spin. Some people don't think of top, bottom, and center as necessarily spin because it's not left and right. But I mean, you can set up, again, I really like the 3-ball drills. I feel like the 3-ball drills are great. But setting up stuff where you just don't allow yourself to use left and right, all bottom and all top and all center. Try to make that in that corner if I can. Nope. But just set up shots and just don't use spin. But don't know how helpful that would be because there's very few entire racks that you can get through only using top, center, and bottom unless you're playing spot on position.
Let me answer, actually, why don't you do one more trick shot? Do
Awesome.
something fun, and then we will answer one question, giveaway or last giveaway, and say goodnight. We're getting close to that hour.
Awesome. So another trick shot for you guys. One, this is the IQ training ball. That's not my regular cue ball. One that I really enjoy doing. And one that you may have seen is the sky bounce shot. Now the sky bounce, I don't recommend trying this at your local pool hall, but if there's nothing valuable near your pool table, go ahead and give it a go. See what you can do with it. But putting all of these balls up, just gonna set up real quick. And then jump cue is over here. So you do need a jump cue for this shot. If you don't know what a jump cue is, it's just lighter. It's got a harder tip on it. And just helps get the ball in the air. So I'm going to use the box for my Q-Tech Sailor View to jump over. Now I'm going to go way higher than this box, but just has a little boundary there. So the idea is actually to hold the ball in your hand, drop it, and while it's in the air, after you drop it, hit it again, it goes off the table, over the box, hits the rack, makes the 4 ball. So let's give it a go. I missed the rack, and that's why I said don't shoot it in the pool hall. That's a very common thing that can happen with this shot. So just shoot it at your own discretion. Awesome. It's a great shot, super fun, and if people are watching you, clear a path and make sure the cue ball doesn't hit them. But let's go ahead. Another question, and then our giveaway. Let's see. How do you get better at cut shots? Again, that one I would say just shoot them over and over again, but one, I'll leave you with this one cut shot. And then our giveaway. So a lot of people call this the impossible cut shot, but really it's very possible. So don't listen to it. Ball is frozen on the rail. And you got a cue ball directly across from it, and the goal is to cut it into that pocket. You might not think it's possible, but the way you do this is actually a kick shot. So a bunch of right spin on this cue ball, if you barely miss the 7 ball into the rail, that right spin is carrying that cue ball. So let's say you barely missed the 7 into the rail, bunch of right spin on the cue ball heads towards that way, pushing that 7 ball into the pocket. So the quote unquote impossible cut shot is quite possible. And I find it easier than some other regular cut shots. But it still is a pretty difficult shot. It's one that takes a good bit of practice. I'm going to try to make it without scratching. There it is, right there. The impossible cut shot. Look how impossible it is. But just a bunch of right spin, kicking that 7 ball in, but it really looks like a cut shot. So, can you use diamonds on the table? So, last thing, the diamond system. I don't use the diamond system. I like to go off field, but sometimes I like to use it. Very rarely, but it can be helpful. So a thing to know about the diamond system, you number the diamonds on this side of the table. So say I'm trying to make this 15 ball. This pocket's 0, 10, 20, 30. This pocket is 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. And the same thing on the other side. So 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. So my cue ball is at 10, 20. And so to make it to 0, you divide wherever your cue ball is by 2 and then hit that on the other side. So I'm at 20. I want to get to 0. Divide 20 by 2. That's 10. So you aim for 10. And that should give you the good angle. Oh, I hit the ball, but it didn't go in. 20, 10. Should give you the angle to go and make that 15. Once you go down here, it gets a little bit harder, and you got to start aiming a little bit shallower and it depends on your speed again, like there's bank shots. But I'm at 40. I'm aiming for 20, and then make it that 15. So let's go ahead and do our last giveaway for today. And then we'll send it off. Let me close out this Q&A section so I can see the wheel. Let's see. Last $25 gift card. And it goes to Bobby Rowland. Bobby Rowland. Thank you for joining. We'll get your gift card soon. $25 gift card. That's awesome. So just wanted to thank you guys for joining me today. I really hope you enjoyed this. Big thank you to Billiard Factory for putting this on. Can you have anything to say before we leave?
Just one thing, Jaden, I want to thank you as always. And don't forget to check us out. And as a thank you for everyone joining, check your emails tomorrow or the next day. We will be sending everyone a coupon for 15% off of accessories online. Also check your spam folder. Make sure we're not ending up there. We don't want to be in your spam. So please get us out of that spam folder. And we really appreciate you being here. Our goal at Billiard Factory is to help you enjoy priceless time together with your family and friends. And we appreciate you being here. Stay tuned for the next pool school coming up, and we will get Jeanette here as soon as we can. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, guys.